Yo, welcome back to another episode of the Commanders Draft Show. And the draft is finally over. It took us a while to get there. We got there and got through it. The Commanders had 6 draft picks, no movement, which is something different because I think the first 2 years of Adam Peters, he absolutely had movement within the draft, but none this year outside of the the remainder of the Tunsil trade for those picks in the second and fourth round. But outside of that, this is the Commanders Draft Show. This is our last episode for this season. It's a sad day, but hey, maybe next year we'll be talking pick 32 and not pick 7. Yo, what up? We are back. We got DT, we got Cal, we got B in the building on audio. The draft has come and they've gone. We have our 6 players. Cal, overall, right? Let's go around the room real quick, right? Give me one word of how you feel about those 6 picks. And I'm going to start it off, and I'm going to say, this is how you know I didn't think about this, right? I just literally thought about it when the intro was going on because I don't have one word, but I'm trying to be fair and get y'all time. So I'm going to take the heat and do the thing. One word for this draft. I'm going to say confused. No, I don't want to say confused. Yes, I'm going to say confused. And we're going to come back after our one word and say why we giving that one word. Cal, what's your one word for this draft?
Balanced.
DT, what's your one word?
Strategic.
Okay. Smoke, what's your one word?
Longevity.
All right. This is why I said confused. Is because I am glad that I am confused. Because Adam Peters did absolutely nothing that I thought that he was going to do. That's why I'm going to say confused for me. Cal, why you say your one word?
Well, obviously the top pick in the entire draft has some weight to it. And I would say that going with Sonny Styles and then afterwards immediately tacking wide receiver and getting Antonio Williams, and then following that up with Joshua Josephs, and then Katron Allen, Matt Golban, and Ethan Kelekamanis. So I think that the top half of it is dominated by defense, especially some hard-hitting, great picks there. And so I think that it's very well balanced and that they added what they kind of needed on defense, but then they went down the route of saying we added some depth here on offense as well. And I think balance is the way to go.
DT, strategic?
Very strategic because despite not having a lot of picks, they were able to get high quality value at every single round. You were able to get a Sonny Styles at pick 7. That was by far their best player on the board. They were the guys they were raving about. Then you get Antonio Williams, who was absolutely lost during this draft process because way before this season, he was a preseason top 5 to 10 wide receiver in the class before guys like Chris Brazzell and others started to gain steam during the season. You know, he had a down season. So this is, you could very well say this is very similar to getting a Trey Amos last year in the second round, a high-quality player. Then you get a Joshua Joseph, who we covered on this podcast, a high-quality edge rusher that can grow alongside the edge rusher. And once again, you can never have too many pass rushers in the NFL. And he's a guy that can come in and get some snaps and actually could compete against some guys that we might have to make a hard decision on keeping on the roster. Then we address center, Matt Golban. We also covered him on the podcast. Katron Allen, shout out to Norfolk, Virginia, great best value, and we got our David Montgomery. The way it's looking, and you get a quarterback that will be some depth, and you can develop him into a backup quarterback on this team. So very strategic by AP, despite limited picks once again, back-to-back years.
Longevity, Smoke.
Longevity. 2 of my 6 draft picks will be 10 plus year starters in this league. And hopefully they're with us. And that is Sonny Styles and Matt Gublin. 2 of my 10. That is securing the middle of my field for the future. I got the quarterback, which is in the middle of the field. I got my Mike backer, which is in the middle of the field. I got my center, which is in the middle of the field. Let's keep building from inside out. That's why I chose longevity.
All right. All right. So let's see in the comments. Is there anything before we get into these draft picks? Was there a player available that he did not take during any part of the round where he was like, no, he should have got this X player and not this player? Kyle, we start with you.
No, I think he did a fantastic job throughout. Look, I wanted center in that 5th round, and I was well documented saying that. You had Trey Zune available, you had Jaeger Burton available, 2 guys that we covered on this show. And even though that wasn't taken in the 5th round, Joshua Joseph Scott was taken. I completely understood it. That dude was sitting around for a while, and he was, I think, warranted to go in the 3rd or 4th round with what he had shown, what we had seen on here. And so even though it was something where I was like, oh, I was expecting center here, I completely understood why they went down that route of adding Joshua Josephs. That was fantastic value.
What about you, DT?
I just came back in. Internet was acting up.
Oh, yeah, that's right. Sorry. I was asking, at any point during any of our picks, was there someone else on the board where you said, man, we should have got this player except for outside of Caleb Downs, but in any other pick?
I was a bit. I had to give myself a slight pause when we picked Williams. You had Skylar Bell, Chris Brazzell. Chris Brazzell they brought in for a top 30 visit on the board. But once I regathered my thoughts and then I looked at it, I was okay with a pick. But that was probably the one that was slight pause. But nevertheless, that's still a good pick. You address wide receiver, and he's a guy that can play inside and outside.
What about you, B?
When we first took Antonio Williams, I looked at the receivers available, and yes, I was enamored with one name, which was a little further down the board in Skylar Bell. But Antonio Williams, throughout the season, throughout the draft process, never lost his stock. Skylar Bell is a guy that stock rose throughout the draft process. So I'm not mad at the Antonio Williams if he was slotted in the 50, 60 range on a lot of the public mocks or public big boards, and we get him at 71, I'm completely happy. When it came to Double J, Dynamite, I went back yesterday and I got the clip in my phone. In the space we was in yesterday, I named 2 people that I was looking at in that 5th round. And I said, I wouldn't be surprised if they go JJ here. And then I lost connection because I was cutting grass and weed whacking and stuff like that. But I did go back and listen to it yesterday. So I was kind of right on the JJ right there. So, I'm cool, bro. I'm glad with everything Adam Peters did yesterday.
What's up, Chuck? Base for Zion. What's good? This might be your first time comment. If it is, we appreciate you, man. If you're not subscribed, please do. We nailed it this year. My only questionable was Williams over Brazzell or Fields, but a grade from me. We addressed all needs and got deeper. Chuck said prepared, Explain what that, Chuck. Prepared. Joseph's Island and Goblin. We going to Smash Mouth and win now. Plow bow. Plow blow offense. All right, I like it. Plow blow. Yep, and Big Saddle, Kenlo Williams, and more Earth Movers in the trenches. Yes, rest in peace to Monty Coleman. We got the notification about a couple hours ago that he passed away. And if you join Riddle Radio tomorrow morning, Unc is going to give a just a little tribute to Monty Coleman tomorrow about what he meant not only to the team but to the community here. What's good, Mitch? What's up, Daryl? Good morning. How you doing, man? Caesar was good. Maybe at wide receiver, third round, but reading up on Williams, I'm okay with it. That 7th round pick had me lost. We could have got VJ Payne. That was about it. So 2 things real quick. And first, I don't even know if I want to. So like, FYI, Antonio Williams is going to be my Terry McLaurin for this summer. I am going to defend him. And I'm going to be a homer for him for the whole summer. So get used to that. But not so much about Antonio Williams, because I pretty much know how you all feel about the height versus separation thing. But Kyle, when it comes to these prospects, and you 3 guys, like you do deep dive on these prospects every year, you guys are very knowledgeable about these prospects. But when there's a prospect that comes up that's not discussed often, especially with the big outlets and maybe even just on a timeline, names that you just don't see that often. When those names are drafted and picked, I think that the fan base goes crazy because of what they don't know.
I think you're right about that. I mean, that's one thing that every year I try to get better at, because you're trying to read the crystal ball, right? You're trying to see what's going to happen. You're trying to identify what the traits that you like and everything. But there's a lot of guys, and you don't know where they're going to go down that route, right? And so you try your best to look through, find the things that you like. And a lot of the times people do get tipped off in the pre-draft process of somebody to look at. And so it does create kind of a vacuum of what everyone's looking at. And this is why the scouts get paid the money that they do. You got to trust what they see, and everyone's on the same page. I think the guy's name was Dustin, who was a huge proponent for Austin in Antonio in this draft class. I do think you're right. And it's purely because they didn't know about him must mean that there's not much to know about him. But it's a lot like fantasy football. If you're picking in the first round and you have picked 12, a lot of people will say, man, I hate that pick. I have to wait to the end. All the good players are gone. When in reality, that's a really good spot to be sitting in. If somebody were to fall, that would be considered a risk or not as highly sought after. And you can really cash in on big production at that 12th pick because it's that kind of dangerous pick. And that's how I kind of view with Antonio Williams, where he's somebody that's because of his last season not being highly productive, even though that production could be there, they sat and were patient, were able to scoop him up, which is why they got an A+ grade for it from PFS and consensus.
What about you, DT?
Yeah, I agree with everything Kyle has said. Like, the one thing about when we do these shows and stuff is, from a production standpoint, we only have a limited amount of players we have to do on the podcast. We can't get every single dude up here. And, you know, but the other thing about it, too, is how social media is. When a player that you see automatically and your algorithm is filled with a lot of these players that are under the radar, guys that are coming in hot after the season they had. They may have won an award, may have come from a small school. Then it starts to circulate constantly, until you get the point that you be forgetting about some of these guys that have done it, have strong years, but maybe this year they didn't have a strong year, or you're just looking at the guys that you feel like is going to be that underrated dude. And I think that kind of what happened to Antonio Williams this year. A lot of guys had big opportunities to have a strong season, the 2025 season, then that led to the draft process, then that led to the combine. And we a lot of times we forget who had strong years the years before, who was a preseason top 10, top 15 guy considered until the very time draft comes. So that's the funny thing about when we do stuff like that. It's not that we're not trying to miss on these guys, but it's just we have so many guys that we circulate through this time. Sometimes we forget. I mean, I did a write-up on Antonio Williams, but there were some guys that I was just kept looking. I was like, man, I really want to talk about. I think AP would be interested in this guy, but whole time AP was interested in Antonio Williams. So I think I did something right.
That's 2 home toots. One from Smoke and then one from DT. I love it. B, what you got, B? What you think?
Kind of want to stick with Antonio Williams. Because like he's a perfect example of what majority of the fan base or that we are around, the prototype, the architect of a receiver they're looking for. They say we already got a 6'1" Terry. Why not go and get a 6'3", 6'4" Brazzle, a 6'4" Malachi Fields, a Jacoby Lane? Like those names were floating around. And I also believe because of the combine process, even though Antonio Williams, participated, his name wasn't buzzing. So I think that's part of the problem as well, where, Antonio Williams didn't have that name and the fan base wasn't looking that way. But at the end of the day, if you look back at it, Deuce, throughout our shows, I want to count up how many prospects that we detailed that we had to go back to 24 for film. We did that a lot this off season. You know what I mean? I'm even thinking of a Irk Rivers. You know what I mean? Something like that, of going back, looking at older film, comparing it to the newer film that we see, and then we assess it. But just because we didn't, spotlight the guy on the show doesn't necessarily mean he wasn't deserving of the 71st pick.
Yeah. He was a menace to our glory years, being a 1980 baby. Good YouTube with Williams, Love, and Jacoby Lane training before the draft. Jones owns the defense with multi-look styles. All the greatest wide receivers in NFL history are all 6 feet or taller. No miniatures or goats. Rice, Moss, Brown. Yeah, but they're not 6'4". Like that. That was the argument, and that is the argument. Is 6'4", 6'3". Like none of the greats are 6'5", 6. Well, I say none of them, but most of them is not there, right? Overall, I'm good with our SEAL Team 6 draft. Okay, with our new captain, Alexander Sonny Styles.
I wouldn't use that one.
They wait a minute. They have more intel. They have multiple scout watching, multiple games, and multiple. Oh man, it's a whole lot of that going on the timeline because of the 49ers about consensus and all this. That's insane. We need a 6'6". Like, how many of those are in the league right now?
That's what I'm talking about.
Not y'all. Like Bass. Tell me how many 6'6", 220-pound freaks are in the league right now that can do all of this stuff that you're asking to grow, right? Because it's just not the case. And I'm not going to get, like, we did a whole show on that yesterday. So if you want to look at that, like, go check out the show yesterday. I'm not trying to go to there. But when it comes to madness in that 7th, this is how I kind of process that quarterback pick in the 7th round. Because we discussed that on the first show, right? Like, could there be a guy that they will want to go and draft this draft at full quarter? We discussed that on the first draft show. And my take was, after all the quarterback, I think 2 was drafted after him, or maybe 1. And then probably within about an hour or 2 of undrafted free agency, like 6 or 7 of them were signed, and they still being signed now. So my process with that, Cal, was that they did not want to. They had their guy, whoever was the top on their board from the remaining quarterbacks, and instead of them having to bid for him, and get into that, they just drafted him so they won't have to get into that bid process with any other team. But what's your thought process on that pick in the 7th round?
Oh, I thought it was smart. We could go back to December when guys like Big Doug and others were tweeting out during those games saying, "Why is Josh Johnson playing and not a younger Sam Hartman so we could see what he can do to contribute?" Right? What this pick was getting that guy, because we could say what we want about Sam Hartman, but this was the Sam Hartman replacement. And in my personal opinion, I don't think that they were going by a consensus of these quarterbacks. I think that they had identified Ethan early on in the process. They liked him a lot. They met with him. This is somebody that they were very interested in. I didn't hear it until like halfway through we were doing these shows. And then they take him in the 7th round when it really wasn't a spot that he was projected to go, if that makes sense. So I thought, in my personal opinion, they were taking him with that 7th rounder. They knew that they were doing that. Like they didn't know what they were going to do in the 1st round based on the board was getting set up, but they knew dang well that they could get him in the 7th, and that was going to be the pick no matter what, in my personal opinion.
And just FYI, like Malik Neighbors is 6 feet, right? And Thomas Jr. is nowhere near that description that you gave for those big body guys. Like it's just not. It just doesn't grow on trees. Go ahead, DT.
Yeah, I agree with the thinking of, trying to get the best guy, the guy that you have done the most work on. You get him an opportunity, keeping him away from undrafted free agency market, and you just draft him. Clearly, they have done their homework on him, and clearly and even Caleb brought up a good point on the recap pod yesterday that it was tremendously hard to see some of the guys last year, specifically on offense, where the offense was with the depth, because Sam Hartman was absolutely garbage.
Yes.
And I think this gives younger guys that may have been better wide receivers or tight ends or how the play is supposed to be functioning, gives them a better opportunity with someone who can be able to handle pressure. This guy was very productive at Rutgers. Every year he got better since he transferred from Minnesota. So this was a great value pick as well. You need to develop a guy anyway, because you don't want to keep re-signing Marcus Mariota every single year, knowing that potentially he may want to go somewhere and have a good opportunity to start.
Hey, you back on my good side, base. This is what I'm talking about. Kicker in the 7th, baby. And we still haven't drafted. We still haven't picked up a kicker undrafted free agent.
And
so
we do have to also take into consideration to DT's point that Blau might have really liked the cat. And that's a further incentive for them to grow with, right? Because that's the one thing is we didn't have a quarterback that we were grooming, right? Like I know people are looking into this saying, well, this is going to be like a guy commented, it's going to be a bench quarterback. We wasted that 7th pick on it. Like I get that. But like Smoke's word for the draft, longevity, this was a pick longevity wise to have a grooming type of person that that you have a specific plan for that you could divulge and do work with. I don't think it's useless. I do think it has good meaning to it, that just something that we're building up behind Jaden Daniels.
Yeah, and I mean, I think Brazel gave a good breakdown. Smoke gave a good breakdown of Brazel yesterday. Yes, he is that, right? And he looks that. But he does one thing and he does it at an elite level, but then it kind of stops. Right. So and when it comes to development of a quarterback, right? Constantly on the timeline, you see, why can't we have somebody that we can trade? Right? Like why can't we have a quarterback to develop and maybe play in a preseason, look extremely good, and you got teams that got quarterback and they come for us to trade for a player? Like we constantly want that. Like we constantly, well, look at how we do it. But then when we try to do it and we bring in a guy to develop, to possibly be able to move off of and get better draft capital than what we used to draft them, we don't understand it, and it's a waste of
right.
money. Like we have to figure out what it is that we want, and I think it's because we just don't know what it looks like. DT, and what you think? What you think, B? What man is?
with mine is Kyle jumped back in. It's kind of stole my thunder where I was going. I believe this is a David Blau pick.
Yeah.
Um, you
Sorry,
want to be
Smoke.
able to groom that guy? No, you good, bro. You good because you and DT kind of say what I was going to hit with. That could be a David Blau guy. We got to groom a guy. You can't continue to pay $8 to $10 million for a second string backup or whatever it is with a guy that for the last 2 seasons we're not sure if Mariota is even going to be back with us. Because of the other opportunities that present himself. He's a totally different quarterback than Mariota and Jaden. They say the word on the street, you give him a clean pocket with his big arm, he will light you up. So if we going under center, things of that nature, play action game, that's him. You know what I mean? Possibly a true West Coast quarterback, style quarterback. So I'm not mad, man. I am not mad.
Yeah, and to Smoke's point, Ethan last season threw for a 62% completion percentage, over 3,000 yards passing, 20 touchdowns, 7 interceptions, and was sacked, I think, 36 times, more than any other year that he was a quarterback. So obviously, him still being productive, have a good completion percentage on top of getting pressured a lot, I think is showcase that he was even getting better with more pressure put on him.
And
And
listen, and we talk.
my
Yeah,
buddy
go ahead,
called
B.
me earlier, and he said he saw something earlier for the first 4 or 5 games. Manus was completing passes at 88% of the season.
I believe it.
He had 2 good receivers out there at Rutgers with him.
Mm-hmm.
Ian Strong. Where he transferred to? Ian Strong transferred to Cal. No, I forgot where he went. But
I thought it was Cal.
yep, I think it's Cal. Yeah, my fault, dude.
Nah, you good. You good. All right,
I
let's get
I
to
have a
some of
question
Yeah,
from the
go ahead.
Colonel. We were celebrating my
Hey,
birthday.
the Colonel, my man.
We were celebrating my birthday this weekend, and so he had a question for the show, the panel. If you guys want to answer it, I
Yeah.
kind of did already, but I'll add a little bit on. DT, his question is: before the draft, Sonny Styles was being mocked between 3 and 8, right? But all of a sudden, when Washington drafts him, people start talking about that he's a project, not going to be starting right away. There's like a 50% clip disparage of people that like the pick, and others that are saying like this is a really bad pick altogether. Why all of a sudden post draft does he not get as much love as he was getting pre draft?
That is a good question. Now, I'll be completely honest and transparent. The one concern I had about drafting Sonny was the PTSD of drafting linebackers very early and that history of how that's panned out. That was a big concern on my mind when it popped up. However, when I see what we have in place, when I see what Deontay Jones, where he came from, when I see we have a Dan Quinn who can put his influences, he has worked with tremendously athletic linebackers. I still believe, after looking at it and taking my PTSD on, this is the best pick for the Commanders. This is the guy who they wanted, and they're going to use every single way to get the best out of him. And I think just for a lot of people is, obviously they wanted Jordan Tyson, they wanted Caleb Downs, or they wanted somebody else at that spot instead of a linebacker. I think that's clearly the night of the day.
Yeah, and what I kind of said to him was, people just, especially with Washington, they just, if this player would have been, if he would have picked by New York, you'd be hearing nothing but great things about him. But for some reason, we do have a section of people, and I think Smoke talked about this in a space the other day and talking to Guru and saying that, like, how come you say the Giants got better in these other areas, but we did as well? How come we don't get the same love that you're giving the Giants against us, sort of thing, being unbalanced in that sort of way? And I think, how they say that we have Ashburn syndrome? I do believe there is a legitimate thing with opposing fans in the national media. They just have the other side of that negative light on anything Washington does and selects, in my personal opinion.
Yeah. I mean, shoot, there were some Giants fans that wanted Sonny Styles.
Yeah.
Instead of Arvell Reese. So.
Very true. Very true. Mitch, crazy. How does Johnny change the math for offense? Is he a force multiplier or a matchup band-aid? Poster King was good. How you been, man? It's been a little bit. Him and Leo Chanel, that's crazy speed. You don't get at Ohio State with the green dot being low IQ, which is a great point. Yeah, kind of don't care. All I know, NFC East got better. Louisville, McGee, Styles, Wags. All right, so let's go. Let's finish up with Sonny. We're gonna go. Oh, what'd you say? No, he didn't. No, he didn't. No, he didn't. No, he didn't. He said Styles get waggy with it. He said Styles get waggy with it. That's what he said. That's what I see. I see Styles get waggy with it. I don't see Wags. I see Chanel, Louvu, McGee, Styles get waggy with it, and Chase on.
Hey, you can be denied you want. He put Wags.
I see waggy with it. Let's start with you, B. Sonny Styles. What's your thought process on that pick, and what do you think will he have an immediate impact, or will that be something that we're going to have patience with?
Immediate impact, yes. I want you to think about what the addition of Styles may have just done to this room. What do I mean by that? Frankie Louvu may be a rotational piece when it's all said and done. I want you to think about that. Why do I say that? We don't know if we're going to a 34 defense, a 43 defense, a 42 defense, but the word on the street is a 43 style defense. I mean, a 34 style defense. Your two outside backers could be Owe and Chason. Your middle backers could be Styles and Chanel. McGee and Styles. McGee and Chanel. Like, we don't know. That is a deep room now. Compared to where we just came from, playing a Bobby Wagner 99.9% of the snaps. That's where I'm at with it, Deuce. He just made this room so versatile, much more faster than what we can imagine. I can't remember the last time at the second level of our defense, we had 4-5 speed or better across the board. And that's where I'm at with it.
What about you, DT?
I mean, everything that Smoke said. I mean, this defense from a middle of the field standpoint has got more versatile, got faster, and much, much stronger. Bobby Wagner playing 99% of the snaps was absolutely shameful. Now you have someone that is literally 21 years old, heading to the National Football League, third year playing the linebacker position, got better his second year, which led him to being a first-round selection. The sky's the limit for Sonny. And then you have guys like Lino Chanel, you have Frankie Louisville, who's looking to have a resurgence back from 2024 season. You can rush him. You can play off ball. You have many things you can do to add with the pass rush that we added from a defensive line standpoint. You have multiple ways to create a style of defense that can wreak havoc, create confusion, and get after the quarterback. So literally your front seven, not only from a defensive line standpoint has improved, but your linebackers have improved from a sideline to sideline standpoint and a coverage standpoint. And that's what Sonny Styles did. I believe Sonny will have a absolute impact with Leo Chanel as well.
Cal?
I want you guys to sit back and relax, okay? If we can think back to previous teams for Washington, when you looked at our defense, you thought to yourself, and what everyone would say, the defensive line is the best part of the group. That's the strength of the team, right? So whenever any offense went against Washington, they said if you can muffle that defensive line, if you can at least stifle them or go away from them, most likely you're going to be getting the second level and getting a lot of yardage, right? Well, think about what they've just done in acquiring a Sonny Styles and Leo Chanel. So now Frankie Louvu, Leo Chanel can roam free. your defensive line no more are sought out and seen as the aggressor, the big thing that you're concerned about. It's those linebackers and where they're lining up, how they're lining up. And so now you've taken eyes off the defensive line. And now with adding Tim Settle, what you've done is you've added a nose tackle who eats up blockers. I think he talked about this in his presser, how much he was double teamed. He said it was crazy how much he's been double teamed. So now you're adding a guy in here who's shown you the instincts to cover up run games, but also has the propensity to go out wide, play big nickel, and be able to take away what one of the biggest weaknesses against Washington last season was, and that was the running backs getting out of the backfield because we couldn't stop them. Every time we went out wide, we were stopped. You've added somebody in here with an immediate impact at being able to get sideline to sideline, play the run game, and also take away some of the passing game and speed. And you've also allowed Frankie Louvu now to operate as an outside linebacker in pass rush situations. And meanwhile, you've already added Leo Chanel, who has the propensity and the history of doing the same thing. So you've added shark teeth, and you have so many different players now that you can go after the quarterback to force those plays, which inevitably, I think Durante Jones agrees with this. If you add pressure onto the quarterback, a big amount of it, it helps out your secondary. So this was a obvious difference maker in the sense that now you are an aggressive style type of defense. And not only that, you're going to get to the passer. Those guys are going to benefit. Your secondary is going to benefit from quicker throws and not so many deep balls.
And with Louvu, the answer is yes. Louvu is in the final year of his deal. So you have Louvu in the final year of his deal. You have Chayshawn on a 1-year deal. You got Dorrance Armstrong on a 1-year deal. You got Deron Payne on a 1-year deal. So like that, this is the benefit of having these contract years. Now you got all these dudes out there trying to get another contract, right? So these guys are going to leave everything out on the field because no, I don't think they move any of them. Like this benefits us to have those guys with that type of mentality going into the league. Because when you think about it with Louvu, like we're still trying to figure out what happened. And I know he's trying to figure out what happened. So he wants to get another contract. He wants to get another big contract. So in order for him to do that, he's going to have to look like 2024, maybe even better. So them are the things that I'm kind of leaning on when it comes to this linebacker room. And this edge room is those contract year guys is going to push those other guys to also perform better and to work because these guys is trying to get on the field. These guys is going to be on the field. So I'm absolutely excited about this edge room and these outside linebackers. All right, Antonio Williams pick. Let's start with you, DT. First thought on Antonio Williams. And now, how do you feel about
him? So Antonio Williams, after rethinking about it, after going back and watching where he was ranked last year after his strong 2024 season compared to now and what I've seen, I think we actually got one of the best route runners in this draft class. And this guy, he's 5'11". He's very electric, the ball in his hand. I understand why people are questioning, well, why is it that we went back-to-back years with a guy that can play a slide? Well, to be honest with you, Luke can play inside and outside, and he's 6'2", so he offers some size. Jalen Lane, being honest with you, he's a talented player. He's still got some learning to do route running wise, and especially with drops, but he's already a dangerous punt returner. But Williams will provide them with the room right now. He can be a wide receiver too, pending unless the other guy in California get his stuff situated. But looking back at it, man, this is a great pick for Jaden because Jaden loves going to guys that can attack the middle of the field. And this offense, you want to attack the middle of the field. You need someone that can understand sitting in zones and where the quarterback is going to be at the right place at the right time. So I think Antonio is absolutely a slam dunk pick at 71.
What you think, Kyle?
It makes a lot of sense. I think one of the more things that stand out about him is how tough he is. Even though he's only, like DT said, 5'11", 187 pounds, you see him attacking the middle of the field and operating there without a care or concern for his body, which is hard to do from a wide receiver. Typically, they want to protect themselves. he much is willing to go up for those contested catches and typically comes down with them. This is somebody that I saw somebody comment, is this kind of isolate him? Do you think he's going to be on the outside, or do you think that they're going to be more middle of the field passing? And this is like basically what AP was saying in his presser about Antonio Williams. He could play both, and defenses are going to be thinking the same thing. Is he going to be attacking the middle field or out wide? And that's why him having such a wide variety of his route concepts, his route tree, is such a positive on top of it. So you have a contested catch guy, you have a tough dude who can run the entire route tree, who mainly operated in the middle, but you can always utilize him on the outside as well. So that's somebody that you could look at and say, you're not going to be really pinpoint what he's going to do. And that by itself is an awesome piece. So I like it. I'm glad that everyone is happy. I know everyone was complaining about wide receiver after the first round. So we got weapons for Jaden. We can't complain all that much more. You know, we got the weapon. All right, we're good.
All right, what about you, Smoke? You answer this question about him middle of the field or boundary piece.
Say it again. I'm sorry. I had to come back.
Yeah, I think you just got back. So then we were just talking about Antonio Williams. Like, what was your thought process when we first picked him, and now where are you with him?
I kind of said it earlier. I was like, I was a little intrigued. There were some names that I thought, I would like a little more. But doing the research I did in this draft process and then really looking at them, Saturday and stuff like that, man, this dude is always open for some reason. And I had to go back to 24. That's another prospect. Go back to 24. Why did he have 904 yards, 11 touchdowns in 24, and a drop off in 25? That Clemson team was bad this year. It was really bad. So I think he adds that. Some of us was coming into last season with a Deebo Samuel saying, if we could get him the ball in space in the middle of the field, the sky could be the limit. I think we should be saying that right now about Antonio Williams. We kind of got Zach Ertz out of the middle of the field because he's not on this team right now. And you could use a Chig in other ways. So let Antonio eat in the middle of that field. And like I say, man, his yak ability and stuff like that, man, he's pretty awesome with it. So I'm happy for Antonio Williams now that I look back at it.
And I wanted to add this because I made this tweet, I believe, Saturday. What they have done this offseason with getting Rashard White, getting Chig Okonkwo, and now Antonio Williams, they are trying to push Jaden to actually attack the middle of the field even more. Being completely honest, we know Jaden from his time at LSU, the question was always about the middle of the field. It's not that he can't do it, but we didn't see it as much. I believe we can be able to attack the middle of the field more on a consistent basis. I believe that is something that David Blau has had a conversation with him is, hey, you're talented on the outside hitting these guys, but I think there's some plays being left out in the middle of the field. We know Zach Ertz was a security blanket, but let's see you try to hit these dig routes. Let's see you try to hit these seam balls with the tight end going one-on-one against a linebacker or a safety. I think these are the plays that Blau is going to actually challenge Jalen, and Jalen is the guy that's very competitive, and I think this will help him develop even more his game.
Agree. Antonio's a route monster. He knows how to get open. For the slot, he gets open. Klubnik was buns, plus the fan base wanted Sweeney fired. It was a toxic season. I like this podcast. Appreciate that, Cash. First time listener, earn a subscriber, like Logical Fans. Appreciate it. Yeah, a lot of people question his middle of the field play, and Clash's middle of the field is now stocked up. No, Yak Zach did all he could. And one thing about Zach Ertz is, I think Smokey mentions that, is like he was able to separate, right? Like regardless if he was able to do anything after that, he was always in a position, always created a window for Jaden to throw in. And this is what I see from this kid, Antonio Williams. I'm muted.
No. I'm just saying that he's smart. That's what it's intelligence. Intelligence is what gets you open in the middle of the field. Sorry.
For sure. And even go ahead.
A pick that went 8 picks later, I would understand a crash out if it was Zachariah Branch. I would understand it. This dude totally different from that. So, like I say, man, it's a gift and a curse. And even 4 picks after that was Caleb Douglas that went to Miami from Texas Tech. That's a 6'4" guy. I just gave you a 6'4" guy and a 5'9" guy. But people complain about the 5'10", 5'11" guy that we got that is a separation guy. But keep going, dude. It's my fault.
Definitely Zach got open, but marked the ball where he catches it. Yeah, man. But I mean, like this guy's different from that because he's going to get you yak, right? He's going to create separation, and he's going to be able to run away from people. So I like this pick. All right, let's get to the next pick. Joshua Josephs. Like I was always told from my background not to trust people with 2 first names. Kyle, how you feel about Joshua Joseph?
I think it's fantastic value. You're not forcing him into a position where he has to play right away. You could get him in, rotate him in there. I think like DT's, not DT, Smoke's word to describe this draft and longevity. We talked about it many times on here. They only have 1 defensive end on contract post this season. And so this is adding somebody in there long term that you're grooming and getting ready and could be a starter down the line. You're not forcing them into a bad situation. And so you can never have too many pass rushers. We've learned that many, many times before. So it was fantastic value in the 5th round. I said it before. I thought he was 3rd, 4th round, the way that he was kind of playing and just off film and what we saw on here. So I love the pick. I think it's smart. It was a balanced approach, and they went with best player available, and they got all A's up and down the board, even with the 8th pick in the 7th round. They did a fantastic job. I have no qualms.
DT.
Oh, I absolutely love the pick. I was screaming, even though we did sign some edges, you still need to draft an edge for development and also for the future. And you can never have too many pass rushers, especially in the NFL. I mean, we've seen teams have 3 to 4 guys get at the quarterback. Literally, the New York Giants, although they're saying Arvell is going to be an off-ball linebacker, clearly he's going to have some situations where he's going to rush the passer with Abdul Carter and Brian Burns, and just to name a few.
Right.
So this is a guy, he's 21 years old. He played alongside a deep defensive line at Tennessee in the SEC with his former teammate, James Pierce and Omar Lott, who got drafted last year. And he had an opportunity this year, show some flashes, but, he has an opportunity to come over here and still grow his game. I really love this pick, not only for development, but potentially he can grow his role even more.
And to boot all of that, he's 6'3", 242 pounds. He has 34 and a quarter in arms. So he is a long arm. You see the length. And that's something that in the NFL, that length from an edge rusher does matter. And we kind of could see that, obviously, with other prospects that fell a little bit. But with him, that's going to be something that he gets out of the quarterback, forces turnovers, and those long arms are going to be a great floor for him to work with.
What you think, B?
Hey, man, he got a chance to come in for – I'm looking at more of like that Jacob Martin role, sub-package guy. He got an elusive first step off that line of scrimmage. That's one thing I saw on film. I'm gonna say this: looking at the board, pick before Parker Brailsford, I looked at as a need, like a center, and then a pick right after Bo Stevens, interior offensive line depth. So I'm happy with the pick, But that's where, as the board was going, I say, there go my guy Parker, and then right after that was Bo Stevens. But I say, no, I understand, because it go back to what Kyle say. 1 or 2, possibly edge rushers that's on contract after this season. Like, it's not just about this season. You gotta, elite sustainable success. That's what they told us year 1. We want to be able to have elite sustainable success. So why not go ahead and attack a position of need and for the longevity and stuff like that, man? He had almost half of his sacks this season, but it came with the opportunity that DT presented with itself, playing behind the James Pierce and things of that nature, man. So I love the pick. Hey, man, it's time to go out there and ball out. There are some spots available, like Jean Baptiste. You got to get your health together. You got to get your health together. This dude can come in and take your spot, and you'll be auditioning for another team. So it creates that competition that we had in 24, man. It really does.
Trey Jackson as well.
Yep.
Running back, Katron Allen. They go running back. B, will come back to you. I'm liking what I'm seeing so far as I over the last couple days. How are you feeling about Katron Allen?
Oh, I like AKA Fat Man. 24 was better than 25. I stated it earlier. This is another guy. Go back to 24 film. He broke a Penn State rushing record. I'm not sure if it was single season or all time. That's one thing I got to fact check. But I did hear that he broke. Okay, he broke. So that's a Saquon. That's a Miles Sanders. That's going back to the 90s with a Kajana Carter for all the YNs and the listeners. You know what I mean? Like, this guy was able to break the all-time rushing record splitting the backfield with a guy that got drafted before him. Let that sink in. So it was just an off year for Penn State. They fired their coach. Drew Allah didn't live up to the hype. The beginning of their schedule was absolutely brutal, and I think that broke that Penn State team. But Fat Man is coming in here, and he got Bill looking over his shoulder. I'm letting you know. That's the David Montgomery. He is the David Montgomery, but still it's about gaining those touches because Rashad White is a different back than Bill and Fat Man. Rashad White is the best pass blocking back we got on this field, on this team, and then the best third down back. So right now, Bill, you better be looking because Fat Man coming, and that's where I'm at with. I love this bit, bro.
Fat Man coming. What you think, Kyle?
Fat Man coming. 5'11", 216 pounds. He was a third-team All-American, 1,300 rushing yards last season, averaged 6.2 on the ground with 15 touchdowns. And, Smoke saying that 2024 was a better year than 25. It's like, well, damn, how much he was producing. That's kind of crazy. But if you look at it this way, we lost Chris Rodriguez at free agency. Right. And Chris, you could say what you want about Chris Rodriguez, but he did a lot of great things to his football team last season. And we were missing that because who was going to replace Chris Rodriguez pre-draft? And there wasn't really Jeremy McNichols. Maybe you could make the argument for. So they went down and replaced him with somebody they got in the sixth round. And this somebody is highly productive, ran for 1,300 yards, 15 touchdowns. That's a fantastic replacement for pennies on the dollar. It's awesome to see what Adam Peters is doing and like DT's kind of word and being strategic. That this is one of those where they replaced Chris Rodriguez as somebody who highly productive, wasn't highly sought after, but that he's going to be able to do what you want to do based on that bruiser back aspect. And being at Penn State, they are hardcore about their strength training. So that this dude is a freak.
What about you, DT? How you feeling about him?
Now you know better. You absolutely had to make me laugh. You had to make me laugh because that boy from the 757. That boy from the 757. That boy from Shark City. Fat Man. Let me tell y'all something, bro. I thought at this pick, 187, I said, okay, this is a perfect round to get a corner, get a safety late, let them come in and compete. But when I seen that notification, it said Katron Allen. I said, oh my goodness, AP, you was a nasty mamma tamma. You was a nasty mamma tamma. Listen, dog, Katron Allen, I think he's one of the best pure runners in this class. He's absolutely way better Nick Singleton in terms of running the football. Nick Singleton, he has the athletic traits, the speed, go 0 to 60. When we're talking about inside running, patience, vision, contact balance, that is Katron. That is absolutely Katron. And for a team that just lost Chris Rodriguez, in terms of short yardage and physicality, Katron Allen is a guy that's going to set the tone in the run game. He's going to set the tone. And yes, he probably was limited in terms of pass catching. I don't think it was a term that he couldn't do it. It's just probably he doesn't look the best when he does it. But I'm going to tell you right now, Smoke already said it. This running game was already top 4, and you got a Jada Daniels. Think about those gap plays. Think about those draw plays. Think about them counters, them guards. Think about fourth quarter, 4-minute drill. That's K-Tron. And K-Tron is going to push Bill to make him better, or he's just going to take the job himself.
Dude, so listen at this. 4 seasons, 4180 on the ground.
That's insane.
39 touchdowns, 70 catches, 490 yards, 4 touchdowns. This guy had 4,600 total yards of offense in 4 seasons at Penn State.
While sharing the backfield.
Sharing the backfield, bro.
In NIL culture college football world where he could have transferred and be a starter anywhere else.
Like if we would have started this process, say, last year, right after the draft, and you're like, okay, let's look forward. I would have went Love, Singleton, Allen, Jadarian Price. That would have been my top 4. In that order. We got to the draft process. It was Love, Price, Singleton, Allen. But like I say, at the end of the day, bro, Price and Allen could have went anywhere in this country, like DT just said. And 1,300 sharing the backfield? Come on, man. Like, bro, AP cooked with that one. This is an absolute steal. No, 0 fumbles. And how many carries did he have? 769 carries, 0 fumbles.
Is that off ESPN?
Yeah.
I'd be worried about that because I did the same thing with Mike Washington and come to find out Mike Washington fumbled a whole bunch.
No, but they said it yesterday.
They did? Okay.
0 fumbles. He's never put the ball on the ground.
I don't know what it is with ESPN and their running backs, but like they don't put the fumbles in for some reason. So that's I just wanted to make sure.
I can go to right here. Yep.
I got in trouble with that with Mike Washington. I misspoke.
Look right here. You got to go to splits on ESPN. If you go to splits, you will see it.
Okay.
0 fumbles.
Hey, what's up, nephew?
Hey.
Hey, what's up? Your Uncle DT over there.
You like K? Yeah, I want you to be Allen.
Dustin, what's good, Dustin? All right, let's get to the next. Matt Gublin, center, play up and down the line of scrimmage. I think the only position he did not play was left tackle. How y'all feeling about Gublin? And does he have a shot to get the starting job for week 1? Kyle, we stopped you, Kyle.
I think so. 6'3", 305 pounds. Really strong lower half. He was honorable All Big Ten center. He was a captain this season for Michigan State. His first season with Michigan State, I think he came from Wake Forest before, where he worked out as left guard, right guard. So he's versatile in his history and playing on the line. But this season, I in the pre-draft process, I saw somebody posting some of his film leading up to the draft, and they were making the comment that this was the most underrated center in this class. And I correlated this year's center class to last year's running back class, where you could find a legitimate starter producer later on in the draft more so than other positions. And I still believe that now. So I do think Matt Gublin can compete for the starting job. And based on how well he comes in and gets acclimated with the process, it'll be hard because of how much the center does of being able to point out protections and everything of the sort. I think that he can work his way into it, if not halfway through the year, after this season.
What you think, B?
Man, I love it. He just like my favorite pick, bro. He is going to come in and compete for, starting job right off the break. Presented the opportunity. Yes, he's played guard, both guard possessors, started all 11 games at center this year. He got a good base. He loves to climb to the next level. That block down, get to the linebacker, seal it, and you will see a lot of Michigan run plays run right off his butt, off of that seal. So I think he's going to fit because we're looking for versatility on that offensive line. We already got a versatile O-line, that can move side to side. We can maul you if we want to, stuff like that. So I believe he is going to come in and compete. And if he's not ready, okay, keep growing, son. You know what I mean? But they drafted you for that position, to be the natural center on this team.
And his NFL profile, Smoke, it did say he started 11 games at center, but he missed the final game due to an injury.
Okay.
So that might be the reason why he fell where he did. Maybe it's going to take some time to get back. Don't know, but we'll see how he looks once he gets in for rookie camp.
Mm-hmm.
Sounds good.
Golly.
What you think, DT? How you like the Goblin?
I love the Goblin pick.
The Goblin.
Is that a name? How you say it? How you pronounce the name?
Goblin. I like
Goblin.
I think it's Goblin.
The Goblin makes that's perfect.
I think it's Goblin, right? Goblin.
Yeah. Goblin.
Yeah, Goblin. Yeah.
Yeah, so this is one of the guys we did. I went back and watched him. I did not know he started out at Wake Forest. He has some other inside versatility. He played all over the line. Played center 11 starts at Michigan State. Very strong, has a strong base. I do question a little bit about the athleticism, like getting into space, getting to the second level of stuff. I think this is perfect for depth because he can also play the other spots if needed, but also he can grow and learn his game. And I always think, with AP and them, they do have some confidence with Nick Allegretti, but we all do see the vision of him passing the torch to Matt and getting him an opportunity.
It's a short-term Band-Aid.
Yeah, because my thinking was if they was not able to get a center, they would probably more likely go back in free agency and sign a guy. But, he was right there for the taking, and it was a great value pick as well. I believe he went after Coogan. I think Coogan was the one before him. I was like, who else is out there?
Coogan went before him? Maybe so. I don't remember. Yeah, I really like that pick.
Yeah,
man.
about 15 picks before 194.
Okay.
When I saw that Carmona went before Bo Stevens, went before Trey Zune, I was like, there is something legitimately wrong here. I watched a little bit of Carmona, and I was like very slow, kind of heavy tank guy. I was like, what is
Tennessee, right?
Who, Carmona?
Yeah. I believe so. Hold on. I'm sorry. I fought on that.
I think you're right. But
Fernando Carmona, he went fifth round, 142.
I watched him a little bit, and I was like, dude, he very, very slow, but strong guy. And I was like, if he's going in front of Bo Stevens, there's something up here.
All right. Our last pick is the quarterback. We talked about him a little bit earlier. I haven't been able to get into any film with him yet. I know Smoke talked about him a little bit yesterday, so I just got a little bit of information about him. But any one of you guys got some information and on Madness?
The profile I'm looking at say his ceiling is capped. That's not a good thing. But on the other hand, they say the arm talent is so good that it was worth a shot to be drafted and not undrafted. So, like I said, I believe this is a David Blau pick, man. Go and groom your guy. You was a guy that no one gave, really believed in, stuff like that. So, like I said, man, I'm just looking at that different style quarterback outside of Jada, outside of Mariota, that, he got you under the center guy. Who knows? You know what I mean? With quick processing and stuff like that. So, hey, man, you know what I mean? Go in, beat off Sam Hartman. That's the job. Because like DT said, that Caleb said, it was hard to judge a Ja'Cory Brooks last year. You know what I mean? Stuff like that because of the caliber of quarterbacks in those preseason games. It was just bad, bro. So give him the opportunity.
Yeah. What you think? What you got, Kyle? You got anything on them?
Yes, sir. So I think that your guys are absolutely right. Philip is right that this was the Sam Hartman replacement. This is somebody that you can just be grooming and to have just as the up and comer. Because if you do run into that third quarterback starting issue in the future, you have somebody to say, okay, at least we could see if we have a future with this guy or not. How far along is he? But in the Justin Rogers Draft Network interview, I thought this was very telling. Rogers asked him, you completed 62% of your pass attempts this past season. That was about 10 points higher than your previous career year. Meanwhile, yards per attempt was a personal best at 8.5 YPI. So it's not like you were dinking and ducking. What made you a more accurate quarterback this season? And this is awesome. Ethan replied and said, I threw the football more than I thought I could possibly throw it. I threw the ball every single day during game week. I threw the ball every day, single day, until the season was over. Every single day, I never skipped a day. So telling you this kid's a worker, he's gotten better throughout his career, and he obviously got into his head that he wanted to keep throwing the football until it came second, and I think that work ethic goes a long way. And the one word that Lance Newmark said in his post presser was energy, the energy Ethan brought. And just by that answer alone, you could tell the kid has a lot of energy and a lot to give to the football team.
What you got, DT?
Yeah. So I love this pick for, good investment reasons, given an opportunity to see what we have with the other players that's trying to compete for preseason reps and also trying to stay on the team, but also just being able to become a heir apparent, to Marcus Mariota. He started his career at Minnesota, and first 2 years completion percentage was very horrible. Rutgers third year when he transferred, it was horrible. But you gradually see every year he got him better. He got him better every single year. He got more opportunities. And with the piece that Kyle just shared, this is a guy that he's going to work and he's going to get opportunities. He's played under center when he was at Minnesota, and also played in a little bit of an RPO heavy scheme with Rutgers, so he's able to do multiple things. I think this is a perfect fit, and I also think David Blau sees some David Blau in him. I think that's the main reason why he likes this type of style pick.
I can see that. He's a former 4-star recruit. Career total is 8,600 yards, 55 touchdowns, 27 interceptions, 56% completion percentage. He does have a lot of games. Kim said, I saw the media interviews of quarterback and running back. Both have lots of energy. What's my guy Josh Joe saying? Sorry, missed the start of the show. Just got Wi-Fi on the plane.
And that's our boy Andy Burrows, the International Fan of the Year, who made the Joseph pick live on stage. So credit to our boy representing us. He did a good job at calling us America's team, man. That was awesome.
I love it. Shout out to Andy, man. You could tell they had a ball out there at the draft. So that's good. Good 2 international guys in a row, 2 years in a row. Some good dudes. Scott Hartley last year, and this year Andy. 2 good dudes, 2 really, really good dudes.
Now Jesse's next.
For international, right. right. All right. So those are the picks. What did we leave here that leaving the draft? What didn't we leave with that you all wanted to leave with as far as position? So we didn't get a cornerback. We didn't get a safety. Yeah, go ahead, B.
I would have preferred one, one safety or one corner. If they would have attacked one of them, I would have been perfectly fine. I'm still fine with how the draft panned out. It just make me believe in my vision a lot more. We're going to be an attacking style defense and I don't need the biggest household names on the back end. So hey, let's go attack. But I wish it was corner or safety.
DT.
Yeah, corner or safety. Just somebody that's you look at the room just in general, like safety room. A lot of those guys sign 1-year deals. They're going to be up for next year. I'm not guaranteed they'll be coming back next year. You have Nick Cross under contract. Will Harris contract's going to be up. They did do an extension for Percy Butler. Did do a daily extension with Reeves. You're looking at a room. Then also Quan Martin. This is his 4th year, so he's in the last year of his rookie deal. So it's going to be a lot of questions the very next season about that safety spot. So I probably would have liked the safety in the later rounds, but also corner as well. Just the depth. Trey Amos, he had the injury last year. You had Noah I, who had to play some expensive snaps last year. I would have much better opportunities drafting a guy to get more snaps than a Witherspoon.
All right. What about you, Kyle?
I would say probably defensive tackle. Thought maybe they would go. There was some good ones here for nose and others, but obviously they got selected. So that would have just been something that I thought building in the trenches was very evident and needed. And I thought that was something they could do in this draft. That wasn't taken. Landon Robinson, I think, went to Atlanta, if I'm not mistaken. So credit to, or no, Cincinnati. They went to Cincinnati, didn't he?
Yeah, it's crazy because there was a Cincinnati Bengals podcast that does the all 22 clips that we've been into stuff. They did an interview with him, and that's absolutely crazy. He went to that team.
Yeah, I was kind of like that was probably one, but remember, like Deuce, I'm not sure if you remember about a month ago, you asked us what position on the team could we see them not doing anything for?
Yeah.
And we talked about, I brought up then corner because at Minnesota, they didn't really have that stellar corners, right? Like maybe Brian Flores tossed on the Durante Jones to say, like, if you're bringing enough pressure, it doesn't really matter who you have at corner. Mm-hmm. And I would venture to say that was kind of proven in this class, even though AJ says differently.
Oh, my gosh.
Now, I will say this. There's definitely some truth for that.
What a wait for the last show then.
There's definitely some truth to that, but I am concerned about the depth and Amos coming back from the injury, and I just think we need some guy now. In fairness, all season's not over. They could probably sign a guy that's get cut from the team or stuff like that. Could be guys that's not going to get future options. Could be traded, somewhat stuff. So corner, I don't think they're done at corner. They're going to reevaluate after the draft because clearly there's probably going to be some moves made or something unexpected.
So the draft. Okay, so the thing we didn't go cornerback, we didn't go safety. Do you believe that Mansour Delane would have been a commander if the Chiefs did not jump up? Or do you think that was just a smokescreen that they put out there about Mansour Delane before the draft to force the Chiefs to move up?
I believe Sonny was the pick all along. I believe AP and staff or brass may have put word out in NFL circles. If you look at our team coming into the draft, it looked like we needed a corner more than a backer. They say, okay, the Saints could use them. The Commanders could use them. So let's go up to 6. And the whole time, Sonny was the ultimate pick because AP stated in his presser, Delane was on their board up high, but he got a bonus when Sonny fell to him. So I'm going to go with AP. I know it's GM speak or whatever it is, but I really believe Sonny was the ultimate pick at 7.
What you think, Kyle?
I think I think Smoke is on it, dude. I do think that there was some poker being played there, and Andy Reid went all in, and you didn't necessarily need to do all that. So Adam folded and ended up not really folding. He called it, and he showed that he had a better hand. I do think that Sonny was the play all along. I think the quarterback of the defense is a legitimate thing, and you weren't getting that with Mansour Delane. And I think that what Durante has preached about as he got here was that pressure is what helps more than anything with coverage. And I think they kind of understood that. And that's why Adam Peters, when he was talking about Sonny, he brought up how good he could be as a pass rusher. And so I think it all speaks to it that this is the direction they were going down. And I don't know how they did it, but they somehow convinced the Chiefs that that was the direction they wanted Mansour, and they forced the Chiefs to cough off some capital for him.
What you think, DT?
I definitely think it was some type of smoke screen. For one, even though corner was a need for us, this team did invest 2 second-round picks into corners. Yes. And they still believe in these corners. And what's also crazy is, despite the fact that Mansour Delane, if he was our targeted guy, you at least would have had some other guys that you felt like would have been higher, and you probably would have taken in the draft. But they did not take a single corner.
Thank you.
Thank you. That shows to me that Sonny was their guy. Sonny was their guy all along.
Yes. Because if you really wanted one, you could have easily found one in this draft class just to add depth to, if it was coveted that much, is the only argument I would make. Others would not, of course. But just saying, like, that's kind of the point here.
I'm about to send y'all something. Somebody just sent it to me. And now it's on my timeline because Kyle just said it.
I got a draft grade, and I came up with a formula for it.
Let's hear it. Because I do want to ask about go over some of these undrafted before we get out of here. But look at y'all phone first.
Okay.
I don't want to see this, man.
Because y'all should know the background on it, right? When y'all see our phone, you see. Yeah, that whole lemon thing was crazy with the Steelers, bro. It's crazy. Malik Spencer still out there? Okay.
I didn't even know that was said.
Yo.
Crazy. There was another tweet that didn't get no reaction at all. Just got viewed.
Oh.
Dang.
Cannot
wait for Wednesday, bro.
I wonder how that came about.
Ooh. He's trying to get him murdered.
I wonder how that came about.
It's in the tweet. You didn't see the Apke thing, and Caleb reposted it last week.
No, I didn't. I didn't see it.
There's even worse ones. Like
so everybody is using it. Like everybody is using it. Oh, this the guy that think he know everything. You want to ask me? You're dumb. Like everybody is like using what Caleb posted the other day.
And remember, there's Benjamin St. Juice too. He was remember that. It's not the only one.
Yeah. Well, shout out to whoever. Let me see. I got it bookmarked. I've got Ken Johansson. Use his updated list. Ooh, let me see.
Yeah, Chris Hilton is the one that's really
yeah, that's the one everybody was trying to say that was Ayuk at the workout with Jaden.
Oh, really?
Yeah, that's who that was.
Yeah, he's got a relationship he played with Jaden before. So he's got that going for him. It's great for UDFA to have that.
Yep. So let's go right into him. Anything on Chris Hilton? Okay, couple years with Jaden. Obviously, he's friends with him. By him being out there with them at that workout, like what type of chances do y'all think he has? Cal, we go back to you.
My bad. What was the question? I'm sorry. I was reading. Reading what the person said.
Deuce.
Sorry.
Oh man, no.
I was trying to. I was trying to
Chris Hilton.
interpret. I was trying to interpret and understand what They Call Me D had said, and I was trying. It was like I was trying to decipher it and find
man.
out. My bad. Can you repeat it?
No, we good. We good. Thou shalt not say BSJ during the season. Yeah, wow. Chris Hilton, what type of chance do you think he has? Played with Jaden a couple years. Obviously, he's close with Jaden, been at the workout with those guys.
I think that he has a legitimate chance, especially given the relationship aspect. But I think special teams is where these guys are really going to make their money at. It's one reason why Jalen Lane is considered safe because he is an elite returner and he's somebody that's going to cover that punt return spot. And so, can you be a gunner? Can you be aggressive in that sort of sense? Can you be on kickoff and being able to get down the field and lay some wood? So I think that special teams is where these guys are going to make their mark. And I think Jaden, out of all people, would be able to voice that to Hilton and say that's how you're going to get on this football team. And that's where it ultimately comes down to, at those lower end of the wide receivers.
What you think, DT?
I'm not sure with the room how it's going to be constructed. He might have a strong chance to make the practice squad. But he does have a great relationship with Jaden. He spoke highly of him during his high of the season, talked about the amount of studying they did. Jaden would come in 4 or 5 o'clock in the morning, go over to all 22, get ready, prepped up for the game they had that week. He has a tremendous relationship. I did see a pro day workout where he was actually doing some defensive back drills. So I'm curious if they were, this team considering a position change. Is this like a Quentin Dunbar situation or something? I don't know. But I did just find out he's dating the
LSU, here we go.
What's that LSU girl?
LSU girl is crazy.
What's her name? She's the one that's a rapper. Her last name Johnson.
Oh, Floje.
Floje. Oh, he's dating her? She got drafted
her
this year, right?
Yeah, so I guess him and Jaden have similar things. They college basketball stars.
Actually, she got traded too. She got traded. She got traded on draft night.
Dang, that's crazy.
I think she went to the Spox, right, B? And then she got traded.
Yeah, she's somewhere now.
I forgot where she got traded. Yeah. But what you think about Hilton, B?
And I don't know too much about him. I got to do research on him. So I know he played a season with Jada. That's what I do know. But like I say, come in, fill a room out, come in, compete. Is he better than the Ja'Cory Brooks? Is Ja'Cory Brooks going to take a step to try to make the roster? I don't know. But just come in and compete, son. Like that's where I'm at with it. But I don't know too much about him.
All right, so what else we got? I guess there's some more of these undrafted free agent guys. Vernon Davis, Fred Davis.
Fred Davis is second.
Fred Davis is second, which has no relation.
Yeah, it has no relation.
That Fred.
I mean, Fred didn't play that long ago. That'd be kind of crazy.
But what y'all think? Fred Davis is second from Northwestern cornerback.
I like his measurables. I don't think he had a college interception in his career. If I'm not mistaken, when I looked him up, but I like his measure. I think he was 6'1", 190, or what was it, 194 or something like that, somewhere in that range. But yeah, I like the size. We're looking for help in that room. We got guys like Carl Viggers, things of that nature that's competing for a roster spot. So come in, work your tail off, man. Like, you're going up against a Terry. You're going up against a Speedy Diami, Antonio Williams. You're going up against these guys in practice every day. So come and show your worth, man. Like, that's just where I'm at with these undrafted. Like, just see if you belong. Come in and see if you belong. You may find a spot on the 53, or at least for them to say, you know what, I'm going to bring you back to the practice squad. And that's all you can ask for, man.
Yeah. What you got, Kyle?
Not much. I haven't watched much of them. It's been a busy last week of Florida and everything, so I haven't been able to catch up on these guys. And I plan on doing so on Tuesday, going in and really looking at some of these cats, especially Hilton and others. But if I'm not mistaken, Davis is the only corner that we brought in. I think we also only brought in one other safety, and so again, being more of an indicator that they didn't really put. They're not going crazy to add DBs into the room.
I think they did another one, but Malik Spencer, and I think Tim was just talking about him,
Okay.
the safety from Michigan State. But before we go to DT, what you got on got anything for Davis?
Yeah, so I did a write-up on him. He started out at Clemson, then he transferred for Clemson after about 2 to 3 seasons, played 1 year at Jacksonville State, and then he transferred for his final senior year at Northwestern. And we all know that Northwestern, they also have a history of being a very disciplined defensive unit from their times. You know, even when Pat Fitzgerald was coaching that team, they were still a solid unit this past season. Very patient in zone. I think he'll be a great fit. And you know, with the room that looks at the bottom half of that roster, he has a strong chance of, you know, competing and making this roster, because it's a lot of unknowns with, you know, like a Carl Vickers from last year, Darius Rush, you know, just to name a few of the guys that's currently on that back end of the roster. I think he has a tremendous opportunity.
What about you, B? Oh, all right. Already said it's on. What happened?
You asked him first.
Yeah. I already talked about Fred. My fault. I was on mute. But no, I like his range. I like his height, his measurables and stuff like that. Just come to compete, man.
All right. Jeffrey Mba. Seems like a lot of people say. I think we pay him the most money too.
Mm-hmm.
Is that the defensive tackle international guy?
No, he's from
SMU.
He is international, I believe. I think he's last chance you. And I just found out Carl Vickers, they were both teammates.
6'6", 340 D tackle.
That's a big boy.
And we just signed a 6'7" O lineman not too long ago.
Well, they bringing him in for rookie camp.
I mean, well, for the rookie camp, Mickey Mini camp. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Which I think about it. Yeah, man, like that might be your D tackle down. I think he's the nose guy, right?
He can play free technique and the nose. He's versatile.
At 6'6", 340, I hope so.
Man, that's whew.
Now the only con I'll say is he's already 25 years old, so he's definitely an older prospect. So you're probably going to get a high floor with him. I'm probably
got an unk down there.
Yeah, he's older than Jerzon Newton.
That's crazy.
Everybody else, Malik Spencer, we got a guy from Utah. Another running back, Robert Henry. He's also a big back, right? Isn't he a big back? Because I think I saw
the guard from Utah got a 9.57 RAS.
Oh boy, here we go.
And I think that he had the most. Didn't he have the most? He's from Norfolk State, isn't he?
No, I don't think. No, not Tonya. No, not Tonga. Tongia, whatever how you say his last name.
The running back.
Oh no, I was talking about the guard. My fault.
Oh my bad.
No, but Henry's name was mentioned with the running back in Norfolk State in terms of yards per carry.
Okay.
Yeah.
He 5'9", 196. Had a 6.92 RAS. 4.5, 240.
Yeah.
I thought I saw something that we got two of the running backs that were the highest in yards per rush in college football last season.
Yeah, it's him and K-Tron.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I did write up on him too.
158 split, 10-yard split. So, which is in the good category.
Did you say DT?
I said I did a write-up on him too. There was a couple of running backs that were in the group of fives I actually like better than the ones in the power fives. He was one of them. Also put Jeffrey Imbus film in the chat.
Okay.
All right, man. Adam Peters, do we know who he is after his third free agency and draft? We start with you, DT. Do we know who he is?
What I know is Adam Peters moves very strategically. He always has a plan. He always does more with less so far the past 2 seasons. And last year's class was absolutely solid. Just on paper, this class, it got some potential. Got some potential to look good. And the fact that he's doing far more with less without trading is absolutely glorious. And you can see why there was a lot of people raving about Adam Peters.
Cal?
Have you guys ever seen Silence of the Lambs?
Absolutely.
You have? Okay. You know, so he's Hannibal Lecter, and he's the one that's hiding. He's hiding in the elevator, right? And they ended up finding out, like, oh, that's him on the ground. Let's cuff him. And then they're putting the guard in the on the gurney, taking him to the ambulance. And that's really Hannibal Lecter, right? Well, that's what Adam Peters just did to the Kansas City Chiefs. So at this point, he is Hannibal Lecter. He is a psycho serial killer when it comes to these draft prospects. Because just when you think you got him figured out, he's rolling out in that gurney out to the ambulance, and he's a free man. So I say this, that Adam, the one thing is expect the unexpected. As much as you think that you might have a clue on what he's about to do, he's got another ace up his sleeve. And so if I know anything about Adam at this point, you can't really put your finger on what he's going to do.
What about you, B? He said Cal is dark.
Cow. I say cow. Man. Adam has his own board, and he's going to stick to it. We've seen his first 2 drafts, him move a little bit. This one, he looked at the talent available and said, I can stay pat. That's one thing I love about him. He's going to stick to his board. If he feel like, he can move back to gain something, he'll do it. But if he feel like, he can stay pat and still get his guy, he going to do it. So Adam is building this team for, like I said, elite sustainable success. And what they say, if you get 50% of your draft right year in and year out, you can create a dynasty, man. You know what I mean? So that's what it's about, man. It's about building for the future, stuff like that. We may have not gotten the receiver that everybody wanted, but if you look at that 27 class, I can't wait to discuss that one next year when we're picking 32. Nothing's less than 19 through 32, bro.
I have a question. Scrappy. How do you know who Tim Dillon is? Huh? I want to know that question. No, honestly, I needed new sunglasses, and so we went out to Target as a family, and I asked my son to pick out my sunglasses.
Oh yeah, there it is.
And he picked out these. So,
all right, man. Any final words for the Commanders draft show of 2026? This is the last show. Cal, start with you.
It's been a fantastic season, this season, boys. I appreciate you guys for helping make me better. I know one thing I learned from this season is that I have to go back to previous years and the importance of it, kind of speaking in their pressers. I think DT and Smoke are very keen on doing that, and I've been very much reluctant up until this point. So that's something I'm going to get better at, and being able to next season you have to watch previous years to really understand a prospect and their progress throughout. So credit to you boys for sharpening iron here, so to speak. And just keep an eye out for the Burgundy Zone coming out with another one here soon. But it's been a pleasure as always, boys. DT, congratulations on your opportunity that you got. I know you're going to be killing it like you've been doing with this draft process. And Smoke, it's been a pleasure as always. Very popular man in the spaces and everywhere else. And hopefully we get some more Notre Dame boys for you next year. But and of course, Deuce, you're the man. You're bubbly. Nobody can ever make fun of you. You're just freaking awesome. I don't get it. You're one of those people. But you know, I appreciate the invite as always to do this, and always keep Adam Aniba in your prayers. I messaged him on Facebook not a couple months ago, and I guess he's not on there anymore. But I hope that he's still doing well, man, because he was very good at this.
For sure. DT.
This was definitely a
No, hold on. Let me stop. Let me clarify this. Y'all know we do the Commanders draft show every season with us for every season that we run to just prep y'all for the draft. And then once the draft happens, we do the recap of the draft. And this Commanders draft show will be the last show for this season until next year. But all the other shows on the Red Zone of that will be back at you on tomorrow. So don't go unsubscribing. Yeah, go ahead, DT.
Yeah, thanks for the clarification. What's going on? Yeah. I absolutely had a blast this year. I'm learning as I go along from you guys. Kyle, you've been in the game for a while. Smoke, you definitely have a different view amongst others, and even with Deuce. Everybody has a different way of how we analyze and we evaluate the talent up here. So I think this is a great year for all four of us, I would say. So it's actually 5 because Radar don't come up here. But it's a great year. We actually had more time this year because the past season we were in the NFC Championship. And, I at least expect we probably start a little bit later next year, try to get back in the playoffs and win a couple playoff games, eventually win a Super Bowl. But can't wait till next year. So I'm going to be diving into the 2027 board silently while I look at some guys that we probably don't know and try to bring them up to speed. But until then, you guys tune in Wednesday. We're going to recap the draft on the Ins and Out with DT podcast. And also stay tuned for an article from Blitz Sports Media. I will be doing a recap of the Commanders 2026 draft class.
Can't wait for that. Oh, whose birthday is it?
Mine's tomorrow.
Okay.
That has to be my mom, dude.
Oh, hold up.
That has to be my mom.
Yeah, because hold on, let me see. Because I was like, I don't know, like this still talking about people mothers. I ain't putting that on the screen. So hold up. Hold up. Wait a second. I got so many questions.
Dude, don't even get it started.
Oh, so many questions. I love your mom, bro. I love your mom. Shout out to mom. Oh my goodness.
Now the Tim Dillon reference makes sense.
Right. Oh man, B, what you got, B?
Man, I just want to thank you and thank y'all for the opportunity, man. I love this game, man. It's a lot different than talking to your close friends and everybody that really don't have the time to dive in. They could watch college football as much as me, but when it comes to these prospects, it takes it to a different level. And I look forward to that week in and week out. The way we did it this season and stuff like that. So once again, I just want to thank the platform and everything like that, man. So excuse me, my little pop-ups, but yeah, man, it's been a pleasure, man, a blessing. We got better. This draft absolutely made us better. This draft made a lot of other teams better. I don't expect to be picking top 10 next year.
Absolutely.
19 or better. Why do I say 19? Because that means I made the playoffs. And that's what it's about, man. We got to get back to those days, to the feel-good stories and stuff like that. So, man, next year, I can't wait for this process again. Hopefully it's at 32, but the lowest I'm going is 19. I'm not accepting anything else than 19 on the board as far as being that low. So let's go and get to these playoffs. Once we're in the playoffs, it's a fair game. We know Jada, how he acts in the playoffs, man. Let's just get back there. Let's stay healthy. And once again, Deuce, I thank you for the opportunity, bro.
I appreciate all of you guys and everything that I've learned and continue to learn from you guys. But most of all, I appreciate the chat. I appreciate y'all rocking out with us every Sunday evening when you can be with your families. Appreciate all of those Burgundy Zone subscribers, all of the ins and out subscribers for jumping in and chopping it up with us. But because of you guys, we're able to we enjoy chatting it up with you guys. Like that's a big part of the show. You all help the show go. We appreciate you all. And for DT, Smoke, and Cal, as always, you all know how I feel. So thank you. Chat, I usually do this to you, but you're not going to get it today because I expect to see y'all tomorrow. But this is for DT, Smoke, and Cal. Thank you for your time. I know your time is very valuable, and for you to spend it with me, I absolutely appreciate it. Remember, do it because you love it, not because it loves you. One beat, one sound, one heart, one love.